The Democrats are the racist party and have been all throughout American history. Think about it. The Democrats were the ones who owned slaves. They fought a war to keep slaves. The Republicans the Republican Party was founded to abolish slavery. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. He got shot, he got murdered, died defending slavery. The Democrats were the party of the KKK. Look up, Google this stuff. How many Democrats, politicians, were in the KKK? You can find it with a quick Google search. Black people had a lot of things going for them back in like the 1920s. They had the Harlem Renaissance. They had a thing called Black Wall Street down in Oklahoma. That got burnt down by Democrats. The Democrats burnt down Black Wall Street in 1921. Civil rights is another one, right? Everyone knows the Democrats are the party of civil rights, aren't they? Nope, dead wrong. The Republican Party wrote the Civil Rights Bill, tried to pass it in 1960. The Democrats voted unanimously against it. And then they voted against it again in 1964, but the Republicans were able to convince enough Democrats to get the vote. So the Republicans wrote the Civil Rights Bill, tried to pass it twice, voted unanimously for civil rights and desegregation both times. And how did the Democrats get credit for civil rights? Well, I could tell you that too. Lyndon B. Johnson, LBJ, right? Everyone credits him with civil rights, but he didn't write the Civil Rights Bill. He was just the presiding president when the Civil Rights Bill got passed. But he gets credit for the Great Societies Act. He wrote the Great Society Act. And was that civil rights? No, that didn't give black people the right to vote. What it did do was it pushed mass welfare in the black community, pushed food stamps on the black community. It took low-income schools and gave it Democrat control through federal funding. And low-income schools have not been good ever since. They've been absolutely terrible. Everybody knows this. We were dead last a couple years back before Trump got into office. We were number 40 out of 40 in education in America out of the 40 developed nations that they looked at. Dead last in developed countries in education. Did that Education Act do anything good for low-income education? Absolutely not. Low-income schools in the inner city have been historically terrible, and they sabotaged education for the purpose of votes. They sabotaged the community, the businesses, and everything by putting people on welfare, making them dependent on government, so they wouldn't go out and work, wouldn't start businesses, public housing, all that assistance. That was pushed by Lyndon B. Johnson in the 1960s with the Great Society Act. And what he said about it, this is even worse, what he said about that act was, I'll have those black people voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And he didn't use the words black people, he used another word. Those are his words. You can Google that, you can research this, everything I'm saying is true. Now, what also came out of the Great Society Act by LBJ? Planned Parenthood, put them in Democrat communities. Now, abortion's great, right? Planned Parenthood's great. We love them, right? All the anti-racist people love Planned Parenthood. Look up who was the founder of Planned Parenthood. Her name was Margaret Sanger. She was a diehard socialist, racist, eugenicist. In her own words, don't take my word for it, look her up. In her own words, you can hear her own voice say this. They have audio and they have letters that she wrote saying that the purpose of Planned Parenthood was to exterminate the black race. And again, she did not use the word black. She used another word. That was the purpose of it, because she was a eugenicist and she felt that black people could not be civilized and they didn't have the genetic advantages to compete in a civilized society. So she thought that the high rates that black people were reproducing, the solution to that was abortion and pushing abortion on black communities. And Planned Parenthoods are still today 79% of them in black communities. I mean, the Democrats have been from from all of American history, the racist party. They were the party of the KKK, burnt down Black Wall Street, they owned the slaves, they fought against civil rights, they pushed welfare, food stamps, Planned Parenthood, eugenicist Planned Parenthood in the black community, and black people voted Democrat in the inner cities for 60 years. There's not been a Republican a majority in any major U.S. city, or really any city in America, for the last 60 years. They've voted Democrat over and over and over again continuously. So whose fault is it for the condition of our inner cities, right? The party that has had no control whatsoever, or the party that has complete control for 60 years, has written all the laws, passed all the bills. And if you want to look at what a Republican mayor would do, look at Rudy Giuliani in New York in the 1990s, right? New York was a hellhole. You had, remember Old Times Square, right? You had prostitution, you had drugs, you had crime. You couldn't walk down the street. Times Square was not a good place to be. It was like the Kensington and Allegheny of New York City, right? And Giuliani brought businesses back. He was hard on crime. They all cry racist. They say he was putting black and brown people up against walls and patting them down, right? But it wasn't just black people. It wasn't just brown people. He went after the mafia. That was the biggest triumph of Rudy Giuliani's mayorship was taking down the Italian mafia, the five families, with the RICO Act, and eliminating them from New York, right? Not eliminating them, but at least eliminating their total and complete domination. They ran the unions, they ran everything, the trades. You couldn't do business in New York unless you were going through the mob. They were extorting small business. I mean, it was terrible. Crime was rampant in New York. Giuliani got rid of it. Business was gone in New York. Giuliani brought it back. You had housing. You had rich people moving back into Manhattan, right? The commercial property values went up. Real estate went up with Giuliani. So you had lower crime, you had more business, and you had all these great things, cleaned up all the trash. One Republican mayor did all of that, and then what does New York do? Vote Democrat again, and now look at where it is. So my point is, our cities have gone to trash. Like, if you drive through any American city, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, Detroit, Minneapolis, I mean, look at, you have Democrat policies that have totally destroyed these communities for the last 60 years. Then you have socialist policies that have totally decimated Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. I mean, it should be criminal what these politicians have done to these communities. Look up, I mean, there's great documentaries on this, A Precarious State, about Minnesota. Look at what they've done. And so what you have is you have black people waking up. I watch video after video after video of black people from the city and from the suburbs who are saying, I'm voting Republican, I can't stand what's been going on in my community, and they are waking up en masse. I mean, Trump could win the black vote in 2028. That's how many people are waking up and saying, whoa, wait a minute, look at history, look at what the Democrats have done, look at what they've done to our communities. It was all planned. I mean, they totally intended to destroy the black community. That's just what they did. And now what are they doing to replace those votes? They're bringing in all these illegal immigrants. So what does that mean? You have people coming from Afghanistan. 45% of people coming from Afghanistan are on social programs. They're on welfare, public housing, Medicaid, whatever, and food stamps. They're getting everything from the government. 42% of the people coming from Somalia, same thing, all on social programs. 70% of the money that we spend on social programs is going to illegal immigrants. We found that out from the shutdown. The Democrats actually did us a favor by voting no 13 times to not open the government back up. 13 chances the Democrats had to vote yes. The Republicans voted yes every time, but they're holding out because they want to pay for all the illegal immigrants. 70% of the money going to social programs is going to illegal immigrants. What does that mean? That means if you make $60,000 a year and you're taxed 30%, you're paying $20,000 in taxes roughly, right? 55% of that goes to social programs. So that's about $15,000 going to social programs, and 70% of that goes to illegal immigrants, which is, roughly $10,000. So if you made $60,000 last year, $10,000 of that is going to illegal immigrants who are sitting on their ass doing nothing, committing crimes, hating our country, trying to totally destroy what America was built on and founded on, which is capitalism, free enterprise, independence, property ownership, business ownership. I mean, that's what this country was all about. And you're bringing people in here to vote Democrat, to vote socialist, really, because you have the party that you've relied on for so long, because they relied on you for their income, who is now turning their backs on you and saying you screwed up our entire community, you know. And where are they putting these illegal immigrants? Majority in the black community, because they want those votes, right? The black community is just a test run of what they were doing, what they were about to do to the rest of the country, and you're seeing it play out now. It was a test run. All the public housing, the welfare, the food stamps, the free medical care, all of that, you're seeing that play out in every community in America right now. You know, and look at the results. Look at California, bankrupt, broke. They couldn't fight the fires, this past year because of liberal legislation, because they wanted to save a couple of fish in some pond or some lake or something, and so they didn't have the water available to fight the fires, right? It's like they can't make a right decision. They cannot make a decision for the life of them that would help their city, their community, their town, or their country. And that's why my argument is they're intentionally sabotaging it. They want a civil war. They want socialism. Whatever it is, they want all this equality. They want us all equally poor, and that's my point. So don't vote Democrat. I don't care who you vote for. Just don't vote Democrat, because you're destroying our country.